Hey there, hello everybody. Welcome to takeaways and things to do for week 6. Some of the things that I'd like you to remember are some concepts that were presented by Henrik and Christina this session and that are very important for your next quizzes and tests and activities and even your final project. Because remember, these tools are to be used on whatever you are designing and doing for your final project. So the first thing to remember is, what is a maker? Ask yourself, what is a maker? And basically what they have told us is that a maker is someone that decides to build things by themselves. Um, Before, when we didn't have this technology, 3D printers, laser printers, everything was more difficult to perform and to build. But now we have a lot of technology and aids that can be helped, that can help to build the prototype that you may wanna come from. Remember that when building a minimum viable product, an MVP, sometimes you do need to have the actual physical MVP. So that's why it is very important to become a maker. And this movement has become the what Christina called the makers movement, where everybody gets together and start sharing ideas on how to build things and how to make this possible, to bring ideas to life, to bring your ideas to reality. And then Christina told us something very interesting that I'd like to remember: the difference between the startup philosophy and process and the maker process. On the startup, you define the idea, you then create a product, and then you go to the validation stage. While in the maker's process, you define the idea, create, but then you make. You make before you validate, because you need to have the actual product in order to validate it and later on go to the pitch and start selling the product. So that's why it is very important for some kind of products to actually come up with the physical version of your idea, right? Another thing that is very interesting from Christina's presentation was the 5 steps of making: learn it, prototype it, program it, scale it, and sell it. And there are several things that are useful for you to stop having this anxiety of how to build a prototype. For example, in the program it stage, you don't have to be a programmer. You can have some aids over the internet in which you can have modules of programming and come up with an actual application or software that doesn't have to have all the lines of coding that you need. You have to take into account that it is very important on the stage of scaling it that sometimes it is not possible to have the same kind of performance from the prototype when you scale that. So be careful with that, because you have to monitor that whenever you scale the product, you can have the same cost structure, or at least can have the same bottom line and have the actual business by doing that. Another thing to remember: the tools of prototyping. 3D is very popular right now. Laser printing. Some of the mills, the CNC mill that Christina was talking about, and some of the trends. One guy at one of the campuses asked about the trends, the global trends in innovation. And basically, Christina was talking about 3 of them: virtual reality or augmented reality as well, 3D printing, the second one, and the drones. Drones are a wonderful piece of technology that are going to be able to bring new services and products to life. And of course, we all know that there's some regulation that is going on that, but we also know of several products and services that are becoming a reality through the use of drones. And basically, at the very end, we have a session of questions. Henrik made a remark that I consider pretty useful. And we were recalling the difference between the innovator and the inventor. Sometimes on these makers spaces, you have this a big proportion or a big percentage of the people involved on the makerspace that are basically people that are going to play and have a hobby, and a small percentage of people that are using the makerspace as a mean of bringing a product to life and then commercializing it and having an actual business, an actual entrepreneur. Sometimes you might be discouraged by that because not a lot of people is on the mindset of building a business. But even though you have that kind of environment, the maker spaces are still great places to go and prototype your products. And basically, the difference between the innovator and the inventor has to do a lot with this thing that I'm talking about. The innovator brings ideas to an actual business, and the inventor, they might have something really cool, but that might not have the potential for a business. Finally, what I'd like to cover right here on this brief wrap up is the assignments, the prep assignments that we have for next week. We don't have an assignment from this session because you have to submit your first part of your final project, but you have some prep activities for next class. There's a reading called Building Your Company's Vision from Jerry Porras. And since we're going to start talking about the business configuration of building the vision and the mission statement, this reading is going to be very useful for you. We have 4 videos. The first one is called The Circular Economy, Sustainable Businesses. The second is called Introduction to Cradle to Cradle. Third one, SWOT analysis. And the fourth one, Start with a Why. These four videos are going to be great prep activities to be in the mindset of strategic planning for next session. And we have 6 links, 6 online links that are going to be complementing everything that is going to be covered on next session. So be sure to click on those. Have a reading. Remember that we only have 1 session per week, so make your calendar, make some space available on your calendar in order to get through all these prep activities that are going to take you some time to cover. So be prepared for that, and you'll have the possibility to have a great participation next session, which is going to be the Hendrik's last session before we go to Module 3, in which I will come into scene. So see you later, and have a great week, guys.